Okay, we're gonna file this under habits we're gonna leave behind in 2024. Actually, Cam told me to stop wrapping my corners as a resolution. The person is asking why my ground clamp doesn't look like a porcupine with a bunch of little wires sticking out of it. And if you are a careful observer, if you look in that video, I actually did snip off my MIG wire by giving a little jog and cutting it off on my material like this, instead of cutting it off properly with a pair of cutters. Yeah. Oh, look, my wire's too long. So it is a little bit of a talent, but if you do it just right, you can just kind of, perfect. Oh, hold on. Perfect stick out. Look at that. It's actually not balled up and goobered up too badly, but that doesn't always happen. And you always leave these little whiskers on whatever you do. There are people who will do this on the edge of a table, and there are people who will do this and also run it into their leg or their arm because this is hot and pointy. As far as I know, it is never ever taught to trim your wire, the easy way. And the only time I ever do it is if I'm hard up and on a job and I already have like 3 hands being held up with whatever it is I'm trying to do. And the only possible way I can continue to make this tack that's gonna hold these 2 things together that are underneath stress, I'll snip off my wire and just like, get the job done that I have to do. That's the only time you'll see me doing this besides in a video. Because it's gross and it's unprofessional. And if you work in a shared shop and you've ever had to grind off a table from someone who likes to trim their wire like this, it just makes you want to set fires. Because these hurt, and if you don't get them all off, like look at that. That's a little piece of wire that is pretty solidly welded to that. Can you imagine like catching your tender arm skin on that, just like, pulling away from your table to go do something? Setting your hand down on it. Ooh, or thinking that your table is all smooth from the night before and somebody does that and then you drag a part across it that gets a little gouge that you now need to polish out. It's not cool and it's not cute. It's handy on occasion. If you're not using dikes to snip your wire cutters, whelpers, they're called dikes because they are diagonal cutters. They're called whelpers because they're welder's helpers. I've gone through this before, but these are MIG pliers. If you're going to be a MIG welder, if you're one of those people who said, I just got myself a MIG welder, please do yourself a favor. Don't get one of these without also getting a pair or 2 of these. Not only can you use them to trim things and grab things as you need, they also have little hammers built into them. If you gotta, chip off some slag, they are grooved on the inside so that if something should happen, that your wire's caught up in your line, or if you need to spool it out for some reason, they grab a hold of the wire really well. They're also usually knurled on the outside, so you can clean out the inside of your contact tip. Nozzle. So you can clean out the inside of your nozzle. The little hole here is the perfect diameter for removing a contact tip that's stuck. Sometimes they get on there real hard. And it can also grab your gas lines if you gotta like reef it out for some reason. Everything here should just be finger tight. And if this is stuck on hard, you can use the back of them, which these are also knurled, to break that loose. These things are ideal for cutting your MIG wire. Also leaves a perfect stick out if you cut it with the blade on the far side. Snip your wire with side cutters so that you don't leave these little pieces of crap laying around everywhere for me to find and be annoyed. Grind them off tables. Also in some code shops, I'm pretty sure the inspectors are gonna yell at you if they see you starting a weld with anything but a perfectly clean wire. Because if you have a little goober on the end of it like that, it's not very big. On a bigger wire, you'll have a big ball on that and it's gray, right? It's not copper. To weld off with a rusty ass little ball, it's just bad. Don't start your weld off with a rusty ass little ball. Start it off with a clean cut wire. And some people even get fussy, especially with the larger diameter wire. Instead of cutting it to a square, I'm in the habit of cutting it on an angle, just from industry. Gives you a little bit less surface area on the end to start the art. No more whiskers. No more welding whiskers. Whiskers are for kiddies. And handsome men. What the hell, ladies too. New year, new you. No more whiskers on the weld tables. You look like a noob.